So there are a lot of stories, but the first one that comes to mind has to do with a young girl, under 18, who was with her boyfriend at the time. She was charged with a violent offense that she did not participate in. She was currently enrolled in school, was on track to graduate. There was a gun involved, but she had nothing to do with the gun. But we have these laws in Illinois that mandate that if a gun is involved in a crime, then you automatically can add on 15, 20, or 25 years to your sentence. So this young girl, on top of the probably 6 years that she's going to be sentenced if she is convicted, will add on top of that an extra 15, even though there's no evidence that she really did participate in the crime at all. She was present at most, and now she's facing prison time. That'll put her in there she'll be in prison longer than she will have lived outside of prison walls.
During the rise of crack cocaine in the system, presidents and Congress, whatever, they put in some minimum sentences that if you did certain crimes, judges had to go by a set of standards and they had to go with the minimum sentences.
There's a lot of mandatory sentencing laws. They've been around for decades. They are both federal laws and there are state laws as well. They started a number of decades ago and they've been studied over that time. Why they came about, I think it comes from a well-intentioned place. All people want to feel safe, and so legislators are trying to pass laws that they think will protect their communities and improve public safety.
The law is based on incarceration, and you got to remember the different ramifications, the psychological effect of locking someone up. So that law would not be effective. Despite how many people they lock up based on their law, it would never be effective because the same people that they bringing in that incarceration system up under the law are the same people that they're putting back out on the streets.
What mandatory minimum sentencing laws do is they take out all discretion of the judge and they take out all individual circumstances and they say you as a judge have no choice in how you treat this individual. Even if you think this individual doesn't need to get sent to prison, you don't have a choice. You have to sentence him or her to 3 years, 10 years, 25 years in prison. That's what mandatory sentencing laws do. And that's a problem because it takes out any individual determinations and it takes away any ability to look at individual circumstances.
You know what, I hear a young black male is more liable to be arrested out here and be jailed than any other sector in society.
It is a system that disproportionately affects poor communities of color and poor individuals of color. And it is a system that relies far too heavily on punishment and non-incarceration and destroys and ignores the dignity of all individuals.
But a young black male, I would say 18, we can start 15, 16, up to 35, 40 easy, are more liable to be arrested and incarcerated than any other group.
Seen some data that shows that when it comes to gun laws, that young males from the ages of 17 to 25 are sort of the most common individuals who are affected by these gun laws, and a lot of these are mandatory sentencing laws. And they're young men. On the prison system, what mandatory sentencing laws do is that they exacerbate what is already an overcrowded prison system. So in Illinois specifically, we have a prison system that's designed with a capacity of 35,000 individuals. We're right now hovering at around 49,000 individuals. So we are extremely overcrowded. What mandatory sentencing does is it puts more people in prison and packs more people into tighter spaces.
In society today, a lot of the prisons are overcrowded because we got so many young black males incarcerated, you know, for petty stuff.
What it also does is, I would say that it puts the wrong people, a lot of the times it puts the wrong people in prison. Because these mandatory sentencing laws are extremely broad, and like I said, they take away discretion and the ability to really assess individual circumstances. So what it does is it ends up putting a lot of people in prison who don't need to be there, which in turn can make our communities even more vulnerable.
With the minimum sentencing law, society today realized that those laws were unfair. And it was unfair because a lot of those laws impacted black, African American more than anybody else. Those laws, a lot of them was in jail for like just minor infractions. If someone had a gram of cocaine, powder cocaine, they didn't get the same sentence as somebody with a gram of crack cocaine. You know, and those laws impacted African American more than they impacted anybody else.
Unfortunately, the research has shown that these laws don't work, but I think they came from a place that was well-intentioned, but uninformed.
The legal system is a kangaroo system to me, like a kangaroo court. Now you have the district court, you have the appellate court, you have the Supreme Court. And we got to remember how these laws are created and applied through legislation. And well, in theory it works one way, but in practice it's a total another. So it's safe to say that if you have these jails overwhelmed with simple cases, non-violent cases, and people are studied being incarcerated, being jailed anywhere between 4 to 6 to 7 months, even up to a year for simple cases that could be solved in one day, one process, that's unjust.
So there are a lot of rehabilitative services and options out there. Even locally in Chicago, there are programs like Becoming a Man and One Summer Plus. These are job employment programs. These are programs that try to build the capacity of young people to have impulse control and to resolve conflicts peacefully. Vocational schools are great. So things that really focus on employment and education and behavioral modification or control have been shown and proven to work.
The biggest thing now are jobs, to me. Now, I know you may hear a lot on TV or on the news, whatever. People got to have a way of taking care of themselves and taking care of their family if they got family. Now, one of the first things we had to do, we got to be in school. I mean, school is not everything, but it's a big thing. You got to get out here. You got to be able to do certain things and have certain skills to be marketable for jobs.
Getting involved in positive programs, peer groups, recovery programs, religious-based programs, getting involved with similar programs like the Alumni Association, or getting involved with our Alumni Association, because this Alumni Association produces results. It's not just when we just go hang out. These institutions that I just named or programs produce positive results. Are they absolute? No, but are they very effective? Yes, they are. The only limit is in your mind. The only person who can stop you is the person that I'm talking to. To know your ability, to know your potential, is one of the greatest things that a person could become aware of. No matter how tough things get, I didn't give up. I have been through some things that I wanted to give up, but I always follow that small, still voice on the inside. And last but not least, I have to give thanks to God. And to me, God abides in the silence. God is the infinite truth that abides in the silence. It says, as the speak is silver, then to be silent is gold. And that's it.